Hey everybody, it's All About Vehicles here, and today it's the official first podcast of the All About Vehicles YouTube channel. Today we're talking about the death of Hummer and how it defuncted way back in 2010. It's quite the history, if I gotta say. I'm just pulling up my facts page. Hummer was founded in 1992, January 22nd to be fact. Sadly, it defunct in 2010 in May, and the last Hummer that rolled off was an H3. In 2009, when that bank fraudulent stuff happened, the Chinese manufacturer known by Sichuan Tenzong Heavy Industrial Machine Company announced that they would acquire Hummer. After government stuff, they withdrew their bid on buying Hummer. Most of you guys probably know the HMV, the Humvee. It's a civilized vehicle for not civilized people, though, even though it is a civilized vehicle. It was made for the U.S. Army. It was known as the H1 or AM General. But the civilian version came later. It was the Hummer H2 and H3. H2 was a regular Hummer looking thing. I'll put a photo in the B-roll. And the H3 could have been had in a regular truck or a pickup. Kind of like the Avalanche by Chevrolet. Now, when you go down to the fact of, or just move on to the fact of what happened to Hummer slowly. The company that built the U.S. military's Humvees, I guess lost contract a few years back. It's the HMMWV replacement was never given the right to be replaced by the company that actually builds it. Isn't that stupid? Wow. If you're wondering what HMMWV stands for, it stands for High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle. It's a long fucking acronym. Mind you, well, Hummer was pretty cool. Yet, here's some more history. In 1999, AM General sold their contract of the Hummer to GM. GM was responsible for the distribution of all Hummers, even the ones that were produced by AM General. Yet, after GM designed their own, the H2 and the H3, and the AM General Hummer was renamed H1. AM General, of course, did continue to build the H1, but it was stopped in 2006 or discontinued. And then GM decided to produce the H2 and the H3 in their Chevrolet Port, Los Angeles, Louisiana, I think it's Louisiana, alongside Colorado and Canyon. And of course it shared the GMT 355 platform, which was slightly modified and different from GMT 345. So, let's get down to the bankruptcy. June 1st, 2009. GM filed bankruptcy. Company revealed that Hummer brand would go down, aka defunking. Yet, however, GM said the next day they reached a deal to sell it to a brand of an undisclosed buyer, which later found out it was that Chinese company. So, blah, 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 blah. Then again, at the time, the GM CEO, Ed Whitaker, said in January of 2010, he hoped to close the deal with Tenzong at the end of the month. That's a quote. Yet that deal fell through because Tenzong backed out of the bid. Exactly a month later, Sichuan and GM agreed to extend the deadline until the end of February as Sichuan tried to get approval from the Chinese government. GM was selling Hummer at $150 million. That's not a lot of fucking money, no offense, for a big corporation. According to Wikipedia, on February 24th, GM announced that Tenzong deal had collapsed and the Hummer brand would soon shut down, which would be a defunking. Yet, we didn't know how quick it would go. Other companies, such as Razor Technologies, tried to buy them. On April 7th, that attempt failed as well. And GM officially did a final statement saying they'll be shutting down the Hummer HEV brand and offering rich rebates in a bid to move the remaining 2,200 Hummers. Which, for the record, they probably sold for like dirt cheap, but yeah. So, let's go into the vehicles that they actually did make. Hummer H1 is the first vehicle in the Hummer lineup. It was actually based on the Humvee, and it was actually built by AM General, American Motors, for the U.S. military. Then it was bought by Chrysler previously before that, though. Then they had the H2, and it was the second vehicle that Hummer ever produced. There's two variations, the SUV and the SUT. The SUT was the pickup, the SUV was the regular one. Then they had the H3, which of course, they had the regular H3, and they had the H3 truck, which was like the Chevy Avalanche. And of course, as I stated before, it was based on the GMT 355 platform, shared with the Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon. Yes, even though the Hummers got horrible, really horrible gas mileage, they decided to make a concept, which was a plug-in hybrid. It used similar technology, according to Wikipedia, as the Chevy Volt, which is kind of ironic because the Chevy Volt's not built anymore. It had a bunch of whiz-bang crap, that was no longer a thing. Didn't last long. And then they had the Hummer HX, which was a open-air two-door off-road concept car. It's a Hummer. Hummers are enclosed people. Hummer was also found in racing in the 1990s, 1993 to be exact, and there's a lot of Hummer limousines, 14, 16, or even 22 passengers. As far as my take goes on the Hummer, it's a pretty cool vehicle, but GM ruined it later in the years, 2008, 2009, 2010. It looked too much like a GMC Canyon and made me faintly think I probably was in a Canyon, and yes, I know somebody who owned one, my neighbor. He only had it 3 weeks and he didn't like it, so he traded in and he got dollar for dollar what he wanted, what he bought it for. As far as what I think is a used car, if you're willing to get 6 miles to the gallon in the city, and you don't mind gas bills, go right ahead. I will be honest, buy a early 2000s model, like 2002, 2003. I tend to like that interior better. As far as the H2 SUT and the H3T goes, if you need a glorified Chevy Avalanche with some Hummer things, go right ahead. I'm all about vehicles. Thanks for listening to podcast number 1, which is the history of Hummer and how it defuncted. I hope you guys enjoy. There'll be a second one coming up. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but of course it's a vehicle. I'll talk to you guys there, and as always,